Oh, hiya, buddies. Welcome to the podcast here on a Wednesday. I had to just, is this a Wednesday? All these, there's games and there's no games and there's, it's hard to keep straight. And I'll be honest, feels like it's almost summer vacation. So
it also could be a week till we have the final game of the Stanley Cup Finals. They got to figure this out.
That is true. Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Gotta wait till next Monday potentially? No.
It's very Oiler-esque for them to ruin with our vacation. You know what I'm saying? Getting in the road. We were just talking. Jamie McLennan, we expect he's the usual Wednesday guest. We presume he will be joining us. A bit of a droppeth of the ball, perhaps, from myself, as I didn't check in on him. But we have, it would seem like, plenty to talk about today, as there was a Game 5 last night, which also guaranteed there will be a Game 6 coming up on Friday in the Stanley Cup Final, as the Oilers beat the Panthers 5-3 last night. But in the last half an hour or so, and again, depending on when you're watching this or when you're listening to this, as far as in our real time, the news has broken that Jacob Markstrom has been traded to the New Jersey Devils, and we, as of right now, do not have the complete details. So it's kind of like us, right? We kind of know what's going on, but not everything.
Idea guys.
Yeah. We're the idea guys. What they should do is trade Markstrom. Okay, for what? Well, see.
Yeah. Frank has said it's done. Pierre LeBrun sort of adds to the context of it. It probably is done, but they'd like to inform everyone. Perhaps that's not done yet.
I have confirmation from the team that a trade has been Markstrom's been traded.
Right,
so,
and Frank's not wrong, obviously, but the context Pierre is providing is that this isn't going to be official until they alert the people that are involved. Whether it's just Markstrom or whether that's other humans involved, we don't know. We don't know.
Did you have your fingers crossed there, Red?
I did. I like big trades. Big trades are fun. The more the merrier.
Yeah. This time of year, we've had some huge ones. This was the Larson Hall 1-for-1. This was the PK Subban for Shea Weber. There's been huge deals struck this time of year. And last year it was the Flames moving to Foley about 5 days in the future from here.
Yeah. And what's great is Conroy, again, just control. He's pulling all the strings.
He's the puppet master,
right? He's got all of it going. Hey, you know what we should do? We should wait till the Cup Final's over. You know what? I can't wait any longer for you guys. I can't wait any longer.
Doesn't it feel like that's exactly what happened?
Fuck, you know, like the hell with this.
They're up 3-0.
Yeah, if McDavid's going to be doing this horse bleep, then I'm just going to announce.
I can't let you have the spotlight, Edmonton, you jerks.
Yeah. I'm sure.
I was ready to let it breathe if you got swept, but now I got to get in the way of this thing.
Everyone in Edmonton is like, what? Well, as great as this trade, as this game was last night. What about this Markstrom trade? It's interesting. Well, there's obviously layers to it. I think first and foremost, Flames fans want to know what's coming back. We've talked a lot about the 10th overall pick because that is what is that belongs to the New Jersey Devils. Now, outside of that, the discussions we've had is the 10th enough for Markstrom? Is Markstrom enough for the 10th? So there's some, there's some gaps there. Depending, I'm sure in New Jersey, like, well, what else are you giving for that 10th? That's a 10th overall pick. And the Flames would be thinking, just one pick for a guy like Jacob Markstrom? You guys really need a goalie. So I wonder where it comes in. And who knows, the 10th may not be in this at all. We'll have to wait and see. But it would seem like that's...
Are we going to be extremely disappointed if the 10th is not?
I know some people will be, but we don't know what the other returns are. It's not as if the New Jersey Devils can't amass a pile of things to throw in a deal that are worth more than 10 overall. They absolutely could. And whether that's a Dawson Mercer or Alexander Holtz and other picks, or there's a huge number of things that could add up to something of more value than number 10. But when you're less than a week, or I guess a week and change out from the draft, and you really are starting to figure out what kind of caliber player is going to be a 10, I think fans get excited. And to the same token, I think the New Jersey scouts are probably like, hey, if we're using this, we know exactly what type of player we're going to get. So we'll see.
The thing I'm kind of cautious about is when we got taught, you think about the Tanev trade. We were talking about that just before we got going here. You can start to go through the list of prospects that the Dallas Stars have and then be left a little disappointing when you're 5, 6, 7 names deep and you don't hit the person that they've actually traded for. And it was kind of the same thing in Vancouver, where it's like, okay, was it this guy's? Okay, Brestevich. Well, he's a little bit down the line a little bit.
He's a pretty high caliber guy this year.
But he wasn't just when we were sitting there taking a look. I wonder if it's him or him or him, and it was
right. Yeah, and it's a guy that was having a monster year that we hadn't heard about, who was injured in his draft year. Blah blah blah. The ceiling's pretty different on Grushnikov and Brustevich, but yeah, to your point, we don't know other people's prospect pipelines, right? Like that's.
Yeah. I guess what I'm saying is for us to start to go through and fine tooth combing the New Jersey system. There's Holtz and Nemec and like you said, Dawson Mercer. I can't imagine Dawson Mercer would be traded by New Jersey.
I'm just saying there's lots of things you'd like more than 10, and fans will be like, oh, it's not 10, but that doesn't mean you didn't get something worth more than 10. Well,
yeah,
that's my only point here. There's a million things that could be in this deal from Jersey.
While we wait, and we're
next year's first,
we have our tentacles are out there. Red has contacted all of his sources inside the game of hockey, so he is he's patiently waiting. Who better than our next guest to chime in? He is, of course, a close personal friend of Jacob Markstrom's. Actually,
right?
Was with Markstrom last night. They had dinner, so we get right to the source with Jamie McLennan. Noodles, how we doing?
Not too bad. I mean, good timing. I come on and Marky appears to be heading out. So, and no, I've not had dinner with him ever before. So, no. I mean, as much as
ever. Okay, well,
you weren't selling him on Greater New York.
I
mean,
mean,
a pitch.
If he asked me, I would sell him on direction of where the Flames are at right now compared to where New Jersey is potentially going. He's well aware. So listen, by all accounts, if the deal's made, obviously it's been tweeted out and all of that fun stuff. But at the end of the day, we're always going to judge the return, right? I heard you guys talking about the return. I would argue it's probably going to be a first rounder. There's somewhere probably in there. That seems to be the going currency for top players. And then a prospect, whether that's a guy on the live roster or a guy that is going to play. I'm sure Connie had dug in, whether that deal was available at the deadline or if the deal was available best kind of right now situation. Keep in mind, and this is what I always tell people, and I temper expectations because we're talking about it in Toronto. The player controls the player controls where he's going, right?
Yeah.
That's really.
We just noted it.
Okay.
Go ahead. Sorry, the deal just broke.
Yeah.
Sorry. What is it?
So Darren Dreger has just tweeted that Markstrom to the Devils in return. Calgary gets their first round pick in 2025, which is next year's first, and 23-year-old defenseman Kevin Bahl, who I believe was in part of the Taylor Hall swap as a prospect. So he's a big defenseman that's physical, that sort of is on the edges of their roster. So they get a first next year and a defenseman that probably should be able to step into their lineup this season.
It's funny. You mentioned Bahl. I was thinking that, like, what is he, 23? I watched him. I think he played all the games last year. He's pretty solid. Like, that's pretty much your, Zadorov type of big monster guy. You've got some bite, good skater, all of that type of stuff. So I don't know. What is it? So first rounder in 2025?
Next summer, not this summer. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, that's the going rate. And the other thing, wasn't Markstrom, is he doing any bonuses or something like that? Like, I don't know.
No, there's 2 years left at 6. And if there's no retention, that's a bit of a win for Calgary, because I knew that was a hang up. We talked about a ton back in February.
Yeah. I mean, $6 million off your books or something like that. At the end of the day, that's the going rate. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. This would be my question, and I know we've never probably get a straight answer out of Calgary. What were the other offers? Because if Markstrom, who controls the scenario going, if we can guess, have a crystal ball, who needs a goaltender, who wants a goaltender, what would Ottawa have offered? What would Toronto have offered? What would LA have offered, right? Like, we can do the what if game, but if Markstrom wasn't interested in going anywhere, I mean, I don't know if Calgary approached him to waive or if he had asked for a trade. I don't know the particulars of that as well.
There's that detail, then there's also Flames ownership. Were they willing to eat anything? And if they were, was the pot sweeter, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the other thing too, right? Like, until the actual meat of the deal trickles out, we can weigh in. I don't know. How do you guys feel? Like, Pinder, you're dialed into draft picks and all that.
I think it'd be really tough to get Jersey to give up number 10, given that this is a team that thinks they're very good and got let down this year. I think they're probably pretty sure their pick's going to be between 18 and 30 next year. So I can see why New Jersey wants it to be the 25 pick. From Calgary's perspective, you've got 2 picks in 26. You've got 2 this year, and you have 3 next year, one of which you'll have to send to Montreal. So they're loading up with more picks in the year that they have to send a first to the Habs for that Monahan swap. So I get it from a Devils perspective. If the Flames really like Bahl and think this is a guy that maybe has a 4-5 ceiling, that's good work. If he's just around the edges 6-7, then I don't know that that's enough. But again, they'll know more about Bahl than we do, certainly.
Right. I just thinking back to my notes and stuff like that, he was just solid defender. I don't know. I don't have comparables, but probably fall into the Susie,
there's not a lot of offense there based on what we've seen so far. He had 1 goal and 11 points in 82 games.
Who was
6'6", 230 and just emerged, right?
Yeah.
Who's second rounder?
Who's the mutant that plays in Dallas? Played in Dallas
back in the day.
Alexiak. Yeah. Alexiak back in the day. I think these types of guys now we're seeing, big defensemen being valuable, right? Like that's the, if you can have a guy that can be a tree instead of a shrub on the back end and really be a good defender, they are at a premium. I don't know what the premium is. Again, Markstrom's scenario is if you're heading in a different direction with the Calgary Flames, which, you've got Wolf there, you've got Vladar at another year. So if they're retooling, you can shape some of that money that was earmarked for Markstrom into, kind of rebuilding, retooling your team, put the money somewhere else, either in free agency or if you have to sign guys internally.
Yeah, I don't know that we've been banging the drum that this team should be spending in free agency, but if you could weaponize that cap space another way, that's a move.
Well, you know what? Then I would spin it this way. If you're not done yet, if you're still going to maybe Connie uses some currency at the deadline or at the trade deadline or, at the draft, you can spin picks out onto players like the Balls, like guys like that who are 23, 20. Like this team needs to get younger and continue to grow, whether that's through draft picks or through young players that have now his Balls. What's his contract status?
1 more year. He will be an RFA with arbitration rights. He makes just over $1 million.
Yeah, it's a non-issue. He's under team control, and he's got no numbers that are going to scare you. The thing I wonder about is New Jersey had all those injuries on the back end. They lose Dougie Hamilton this year. This is a guy that played all 82 games just a year after playing half a season. Is he a top 6 NHL defenseman, or did he have to be? And that was part of the reason things fell apart in Jersey. The Flames obviously think he is one.
Right.
So, and look, if we were to tell you that there was a 6'6", 230-pound guy that took a little longer to develop, that would totally make sense. Because he's just arrived in his 22-year-old season does not mean that this guy isn't going to be a player in this league. But he's also been coveted and traded twice now. He's drafted by Arizona. They swap him in the Taylor Hall deal, and now he comes to Calgary from Jersey. It's his 3rd organization. So clearly there's some tools you can dream on here.
Right. But again, unless they come through, then it's a guy who's bounced around a little bit. But, at that frame, you're right. Like Rhett can speak to it. You grow into it. If he ends up being, a 4 or 5, that's not a bad trade, but it might take him a couple of years to grow into his body and
he's
grow
going to
into
get a chance to play.
He absolutely will. Yeah. Like there's no question. Right now, Oliver Shillington is not signed. Their 3rd highest paid defenseman is Daniil Miramanov, and Miramanov was an 8 with Vegas last year. They have all kinds of room to develop a guy and see what he looks like in minutes. What were you saying, Ryan?
I'm saying that he's in the top 4 in Calgary already. I mean,
yeah, by default. No, I think they'll add someone to free agency, but if he'll get full 5-6 minutes, if you're no sweat, even if they had a guy.
Yeah, and Shillington's interesting because. I think he's a guy that played himself into a top 4. It certainly has that type of ability, but I say this respectfully because we know he's had the challenges off the ice. Is there a level of trust when it comes to a business, when you just got to put your business hat on, not your emotional hat, your business hat on? do you commit to a guy like that long term, or do you keep him on the year to year and go, you've got to unfortunately prove it because we got to see where you're at?
Well, and again, knowing all this stuff, why is it not done if both sides are cordial with each other?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, somebody's obviously not happy. Or this should be, we stood beside you and you worked your way through it. This is what a great story.
Yeah.
This should be done, in my opinion. It's one of those things where it's like, when I think about Shillington, I'm going, what's the holdup? Like, this should be an easy.
Well, it should be a layup, Brett. If Calgary goes, hey, you know what, we're going to stand by you, but we're not giving you a long-term deal just based on where you're at, then he should put his hand up and say, I'm fine with that. You stood by me while I was going through my struggles. Like, it should be 1-year deals until you get to that level where it's not a struggle. I don't know if that's the case. Like that, I'm using the wrong verbiage here, because I'm sure he might struggle his whole life. But my point being is, from a business standpoint, if it looks like the Flames stood by him, or not looks, they did stand by him. He came back and played pretty solid. Like, it should be an easy one to extend a 1-year deal and kick the can down the road if he continued to grow as a player. And then you get into a long-term deal once you have that stability and you feel good about your game.
The first round pick's top 10 protected as well for the Devils, which shouldn't be an issue. But yeah.
So we thought we were getting a top 10 pick for Markstrom.
That's what I said when we came in. And I guess our gauge, we're not involved in these trade talks. Right. So to know what top 10 protected means versus not protected, how much do you get for taking half of salary retention as opposed to not? It would seem like the one thing the Flames get here is they're not eating any salary, which means there's potentially other ways to weaponize that space, right? It's not $3 million of dead money. They have a lot of space, though. Would be the thing. I mean, let's be honest.
Let's not write off a first rounder. That's another nice.
But yeah, but Ryan, 10 minutes.
3 years.
Okay, sorry, I'm jumping in here because pre-show it better be number.
Oh, it's
10.
not better. You're hoping. God, it'd be great if it was 10. Yeah, and I get it. You're this close. Jersey's like, no, we're not giving you 10. What's that?
I would say that you're reading.
I think it's a little light. Yeah, I do. But again, like, if Bahl ends up being an 8-year guy on the blue line, you win this thing. Like, it's just that's just the case. So, the thing about a pick is, you know where number 10 is on the draft board. What we don't know about the player is what the hell he's going to do for the next ever. Is he a tweener up and down? Is he a top 4? Is he a 5-6?
The other thing too is
that just makes it hard to grade. It's easy when you just know the pick slot. You're like, 10 overall. I know what that should be.
Right. But the other thing too, guys, is, respectfully to Bahl, like, it's not as sexy, right? If it was a high scoring forward, if it was like you guys, I heard you guys before I came on talking about, you look at prospects ratings and all that. Hey, let's look at LA, what they've got. Hey, let's look at New Jersey's top prospects. Would he be in there, or would he be farther down, or because he played last year? Like, that's the type of stuff where I understand where you're at, Pinder, where maybe it's a little light or not as sexy. But you're right. If he ends up having an 8-year career, 10-year career, and is a mainstay at a 4-5 or a 5-6 type of thing, then you've got what you needed out of it, and that pick ends up turning into something too. You get, like, there's a bunch of what ifs with these trades. I always say, like, New Jersey got the best player, like they did. That's ultimately what we're dealing with right now. Mm-hmm. But in the end, you got cap flexibility. You got a pathway for the young goaltender to move forward in Wolf. You got a young defenseman that has upside, and like there is some wins here. It just, is it enough? I think that'll be the question that people are going to ponder.
They were talking about. Conroy knows what the market is, and he took the deal. So it is what it is. It doesn't make damn.
There is salary retention. Dreger's saying it's at least 30% that the Flames are keeping.
Wow.
And so 30 a third would be like, that's around $2 million, a little less. So, and again, that feels like you should be compensated for 2 years of retention of near $2 million. But again, until we know what Bahl the player is, it's tough. And where that 25 pick falls, it's tough to grade this thing.
Right.
You'd prefer 10 at this point, but it doesn't mean this
That's
package
my
can't
thing.
be better.
I don't care. This is what it is, and Conroy does his deal, and but we were talking about Alexander Holtz.
Right.
Yeah, there's
And
no
Dawson
Holtz. There's no Mercer.
Dawson Mercer's name.
No
came up.
Simon Nemec on the back
Nemec,
end.
yeah,
No
yeah.
no 10th overall.
Right.
Yeah.
It
And look,
may end up
maybe
being a good deal, and we were maybe way out to lunch. But if
No. I
fans are
don't
gonna
think
be
it's out to lunch to suggest you could ask for all those things, Dean, right? It's just that
Right.
it has to be the situation where you've got the leverage to get what you want. Was this the
Well-
only team Craig could negotiate with that Marcus said he would go to? Did Craig feel like he had to move him this summer and not be able to wait? What other forces were there? We don't know.
That's
if
the
he could
best
trade him
point.
anywhere, could he get more? We don't even know.
That's
hope
the
so.
best point is you're right. You have no idea if Craig Conroy's hands were tied behind his back where the player, I'll give you a recent trade. Vladimir Tarasenko goes to Steve Stais, says, you want to trade me? I'm going to Florida. Okay. Like Florida knows it. So Florida, Billy Zito's not going to mop the floor with Stais, but he's like, okay, give you, what was it? A third and a fifth or something. I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't an overwhelming return, but it was good enough. It was fair market. If again, we don't know behind the curtain, but if it was communicated with the Calgary Flames that, there's a narrow approach here and we want Team X, then you're literally, and Team X knows it. Well, they're not going to move off of the names that you were just throwing out, the Mercers and the Holtz and Nemec, and they're going to hold tight. But they're playing a game of chicken, because if Markstrom decides I'll broaden my approach and maybe I do want LA, maybe I do want Toronto or something else, then it looks a lot different as far as the return, because you've got a competition. Now you've got a marketplace.
What's this do for Jersey?
They're a damn good team now. Because if Hamilton comes back healthy, you got, I think Hamilton, we all know Dougie very well, and he's got his warts, but he's a hell of a player too. And, keep in mind, Jack Hughes started like a rocket ship last year, and then that injury really derailed his season. Got it back near the end, but it wasn't good enough. That team is pretty damn close. Like, the first year, drawing a blank, Timo Meyer coming over on that big deal. Took him a while to settle in. But you've got the framework of some pretty damn good players. The one thing that Jersey has been missing is people to stop pucks. They got the guy. They got the best goaltender available. I don't know what's Jacob Mark. It's the perfect land, because they got two young kids that are growing, and Markstrom's deal isn't 6 years; it's 2. So there's some runway for kids to develop, and you've got the goalie right now. I think it's a fantastic deal for Jersey. It really improves what they look like, because I don't know how many times I would look at Travis Green or Lindy Ruff and go, God, they got a hell of a team. They can't get a save. Like, couldn't get a save last year. Oh
no, it much like it was with Dallas for Tanev. This feels like a very good trade for them to make. It's not that they gave up nothing. They gave up a first, but not this year, because they know that it's 10. And next year, they know it's going to be 11 or worse, because it's protected. Right. They get a little bit of salary help, which leaves them open if they get close to a deadline. I don't know what the New Jersey salary situation is. Yeah. And they did. Yeah. And Kevin Bahl is probably, if not expendable, he's not top of the list for them on the blue line. I don't think their top 4 is going to be hurting or have a major hole now that he's gone. It doesn't mean that this is the, that Calgary has lost this deal. I would, like you say, I would love to know. We know Markstrom was sour last year with all the trade talk. He's getting traded to New Jersey, then it doesn't happen.
Right.
And you wonder if, look, I said I'd go to New Jersey, I'll go to New Jersey. If Conroy has one team maybe 2 teams. We don't know where because we've thrown out, LA could use some goaltending. And like you had said, how far is Sweden to LA? Maybe being closer to home matters to him. Who knows?
Newark, let's go.
How many teams did Conroy realistically have to deal with here? And if you're Fitzgerald, yeah, I want the goalie, but I also know that I'm in the driver's seat as far as any other team, because this is where this guy's going.
And you know what, to add on to that, Dean, you have to know that probably Tommy Fitz has been in touch with Boston and said, what's Allmark's situation on his wave, right? And does that include, will Allmark waive, but does that come with an extension? Or what do we have to do with that? Ottawa is probably pounding the pavement going, what do we, we're going to give up something to get a goaltender. Now, Korpisalo, I think they're going to forge ahead, but they might go into a tandem situation where Allmark might be sexy enough that they trade, one of their good pieces for Allmark that comes with an extension. I know that sounds crazy, but if they end up going 10 million in net, they on a tandem situation, you've got a little bit of flexibility on some salary stuff. Maybe Josh Norris, I don't know what his situation is, but I think you look at these teams, I'm coming back to where if it was just Markstrom going, I want to go to Jersey and nowhere else, then you're looking at all the other teams that might be in on this, and we're not going there, then there's nothing you can do. I mean, that's the goaltender's right.
Your signal's a little in and out, but I wanted to get to what we know now. It seems this is Dustin Wolf. He's got the head start on being the number 1 here. Obviously, your thoughts on Wolf and his readiness to be the number 1?
I'm leaving the car. I'm going to get a better signal for you. Right. Pisses me off that I don't have a good signal because I've been sitting in my car at the grocery store. And I'm going up here. They've got a better signal.
You're a real person. Yeah, it sounds great.
I'm pissed off now because I thought I had some gold and you guys are just sitting there staring at me.
We had you right till the end.
Okay, hold on. Now I've walked into a construction zone. I'm going back down. This gives a great pathway to Dustin Wolf because there's nobody in front of him now. He's the guy. Dan Vladar is going to be there as a safety blanket.
When he's healthy.
You're right. But I think, and if they have to sign somebody, if Vladar can't be healthy and you maybe sign a 3, the Martin Jones signing that Tree had last year, somebody like that, then you look at it and go, we're going to give a pathway for Dustin Wolf, and we're going to see what he is as a goalie. Is he a 50-game starter? Can he be a 60-game starter? And again, if there's some bumps in the road, you've got Vladar and or the other goaltender that they potentially have as a 3 to give him some nights off. So what I think it does, it just you got to figure out what Wolf is at the NHL level. He's an NHL goaltender, but as we all make it to the NHL sorts you out. So what does that mean? Are you a 40-game starter? Are you 50? Are you 60? Are you a superstar? All of that. He has the makings of and the framework of being a hell of a goaltender. Now, really, he's got a pathway to sort it out.
Yeah. Interestingly, like if you were going to know you had to throw, horrible cliche, Wolf to the Wolves next year defensively before the Markstrom trade, would we be surprised that they're going to go add a huge hulking defenseman whose strengths are the penalty kill and shot suppression in his own end? Because that's the card on Bahl. You're not going to get offense, but it's a guy that's going to help the Flames in their own zone. I wouldn't be surprised if they had another guy like this in free agency, because I don't think they're going to be good, but they don't want to have Dustin Wolf facing 45 shots a night and 6 breakaways.
You can't have the San Jose situation. You cannot have that where Mackenzie Blackwood, all this guy knows is just getting caved in every night. And he's a good goaltender, but you wouldn't know it from the numbers other than when you look at the game stolen that he had. Calgary is a better team than that. They won't like Kadri, Coleman, guys like that. They're Backlund. They're not going to allow the team to be a tire fire. But you're right. Like you can't have a complete turnover where it's all kids and Wolf gets hung out to dry, and his progression gets hurt because he has a bunch of losses and ugly losses to your point where he's getting 6 breakaways and 20 high danger chances against the night. That'll wear him down, and it'll actually hurt his development. So I think Connie will be methodical with the people that he adds, but you'll add it with a purpose, and the purpose is to be younger and to develop and have a younger core to develop together.
What
Are the Panthers a tire fire? What do we got going on here?
I wouldn't say that. I just said 97 is just on a mission right now. Like that's gross hockey what he's playing. Like I'm flying back. I was in the building game 4, and that was everything went wrong that night. Those are ones where the coach just says burn the tape. Like you know what? Like I liked Mo's comments after he said the best thing that we got Bob a half a game off. The scary part is Edmonton, and I'm not lying. Being around that team for 3 or 4 days, they kept saying if they get one, they feel like they could break through. Well, they look pretty damn comfortable last night because if you look at the formula that they've got now, Stuart Skinner has to play well. He's played well. I think for the most part he's been okay in this series. He's given up a couple leaky goals here or there, but the last 2 games been really, really good. Darnell Nurse and the defensive core was getting caved in. I like their adjustments. Florida's forecheck was really getting to them. Now I don't know if you see they're chipping the puck into the neutral zone, just trying to relieve pressure. Edmonton's found a third line that just Janmark, Brown, and I'm drawing a blank. 19, what's his name? Got traded for Adam Henrique. That third line has been unbelievable. Connor Brown looks like a man on. He looks like he's skating like McDavid right now. He's been just flying out there. Took him a long time to recover from that serious injury, the knee surgery. So, they're getting all of it. The formula's there. I think Florida's got to have a reset. Like just breathe and play. They're a hell of a team, and they pushed last night. And we did see Chucky enter this conversation. I thought he almost single-handedly dragged them back into that game last night. So Edmonton's not just going to put the gear on Friday night and get a win because, Florida's in a bad spot. Florida's going to push, but I think the challenge is Florida's got to try and win 2-1. They got to push those games into where it's fighting for every ounce of ice. But Edmonton's speed has given Florida some problems. And again, 97's on a different planet right now. I don't know if he's going to be denied, but I think Friday's game is going to be unbelievable. And obviously I got to fly out there and be in the mix. But Edmonton has believed all along if they got one, they're going to make a series of it, and they certainly have.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I know what guys were talking about on the broadcast last night, and Noodles, we're all about the same age, but I just remember when I was young watching Gretzky in 85 and 88, and then even what Gretzky has said, the hockey he played in 93 with the Kings again in that Leafs series was some of the best hockey he's ever played. And this is where McDavid is tracking with some of the greatest performances that the greatest player ever has put up. It was an amazing thing to watch last night. It felt like if he wanted another point or two, he was going to get it. It's lucky the game was 60 minutes long.
Everything Florida threw at them, McDavid had a counterpunch. So they score, and then Florida gets on Edmonton scores, and then Florida gets on the board, and it's like McDavid's like, okay, we can't allow them any momentum, and he gets out there and he makes that power play move where everyone in the building, I think everybody watching the game was like, he's been out there for $1.45 already. Everybody's changed heads up play because Perry was Nurse's change apparently. And Nurse saw that McDavid was going to make a push and try one. And he yelled to Perry to go. And Perry, smart enough, 39-year-old legs was like, I'm just going to go to the blue paint with my stick on the ice. And this guy is going to do the rest.
Yeah, I'm a right shot. I'm a right shot. I might have got that one, James.
Yeah.
I may have been able to find a way to tap that thing in.
Retro had a very long stick, and the blade was like a shovel.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, Retro would have redirected that top
Perfect.
shelf as well. Perfect. You know, getting to the net. I mean, you would have got there. You know, you would have got there, depending on what year we were dealing with, and you know where everything was. But I think you would have got there. So I mean, honest to God, it was pretty interesting to watch that whole thing unfold. But that being said, you know, Florida, like Bob, I thought Bob was a little bit shaky too. I thought there was a couple plays. Obviously, the McDavid goal, you know, the argument, you see, I was going to point out to a lot of people that give goaltenders heck. Because if Bob is in what's called the reverse VH and goes down, which most goalies do at that bad angle, it's a nothing play. But then what happens is in 9 goals on his last 39 shots against in the last 2 games. So Edmonton's found something too. Maybe the puck luck is swinging their way.
Totally. Yeah.
Doesn't
I mean, the
mean
power play
anything.
hit 3 posts in game 1. Let's not pretend Bob was the post.
Right.
The puck luck's changed. And honestly, like I tuned in at 4-2. I thought the Panthers were miles better. But of course, it's 4-2, different story. And Sam
Score
Bennett whisked
effects.
on an empty net.
Yeah.
Score
Yeah.
effects. Maybe, you know, this thing easily could have gone to overtime. But this series has swung back and forth. You know, Edmonton had a really good 5-6 periods. There's no question who the better team was in the third last night. It wasn't Edmonton, but they didn't need to be. They're up 3 when it started. Up 2.
And they were defending, and I thought they had some poise. You know, I thought Skinner was really good early in the game. He made 2 big saves in the first 90 seconds, one on Reinhart, one on Ekblad. That game looks a lot different if he doesn't make those saves, because now you're chasing it on the building. Let's not forget, Rhett, you and I can speak to this. That ice stinks. I can't even imagine what the ice is like June 18th, and it's 420 degrees outside. Humidity.
Brutally.
It's just the puck was bouncing around. Now it's both teams that got to play on it, but if you get a lead, it's a lot easier to defend as opposed to a team trying to be crisp and make some tic-tac-toe plays. You're right. Bennett misses a wide open net. That's snow and ice and puck luck on the back door. I thought Florida was going to tie it. I'll be honest. I thought Florida was pushing to the point where they were going to get the equalizer and win it in overtime. So we got a game 6. We'll see what's going to happen. But man, oh man, they've certainly made a series out of it where this could have been, if this was a 4-gamer or a 5-gamer, you know, you'd go, oh, Florida deserves it and happy for him and all that. Now you're thinking, okay, if McDavid might just will them to and grab the Conn Smythe and will them to a cup as well.
So what are we getting? A loaf of bread, container of milk, and a stick of butter? Is that what we're getting today?
We got a bunch of stuff, and this hair needs dealing with too. My salad is so my hair cutting place my hair cutting place is right there too, and the Pusateri's the market. It's a very specialized market. Oh fancy food. Oh
Holy Pusateri's, jeez.
Well, it's a high end place. You know me.
Oh, I know.
I dress well. That's there's security at the door.
You got the heat and humidity there too. It's
32 degrees right now. It's gross. Luckily, I don't sweat because I don't work very hard. So, but yeah, it is gross. I talked to a buddy of mine in Lethbridge yesterday. He said it was 4 degrees. You could see his breath out when he woke up. So, you know, there's always, you know, everyone's talking about the planet being on fire here. Well, go out to Alberta. It wasn't on fire yesterday.
Yeah, go hang in the foothills. You had snow yesterday.
Yeah, so honestly, you know what? I don't like it. I don't like the heat because now the bugs, there was a mosquito back here that was flying around. That's why I was moving. I don't like bugs. So, you know, eventually, like I say, it'll get me. If there's a mosquito around, it always bites me.
You're a man's man. I don't like bugs or mosquitoes. I was moving around because there was
don't like to sweat.
I don't like to sweat. I am a manly man. There was
his fancy grocery store, and then he's going to go to his little salon. Manly man.
Yeah. I don't know. It's not a barber, but it's a salon. Yes,
it sure is.
I can eat the salad rebuild. I'm hanging on for dear life right now. So I don't know if I'll get a fresh dip. It looks pretty good. Like, you know,
No, it does.
I openly admitted for the first time 6 months ago, I put a little color in the side. That was like I openly admitted. I'm man enough to admit that I put.
So you admitted 6 months ago. How long had you been putting the color in?
No. It was only 6 months ago. It was my first time. Yeah. Other than junior, in junior, I put a blonde streak. That was it.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think I need a little dip today. I just need a little trim so that the ears look bigger on TV.
Yeah.
And I think we'll be good, guys.
All right, buddy. Well, safe travels. Appreciate you, pal.
All right. You're the best. We'll chat soon, guys.
Yeah. See
you,
ya.
Noodles.
There he is, Jamie McLennan, just sweating. And
Yeah, we
doesn't
got
need
him
a-
sitting
doesn't need
outside,
a dip.
sitting outside in the hot, humid car,
Yeah.
whatever parking garage.
Just cracking
Oh.
a bead in there, furnace face going. So okay, we can pivot. McLeod Law, we kind of got into it and jumped right in. McLeod Law, it's our trade coverage is brought to you by McLeod Law. Peter Klein, he's our guy, personal injury guy. He's also the go-to guy for your disability insurance claim. If you've been in the unfortunate spot where you're having to deal with this, with having your disability insurance company, and maybe they're kind of giving you a bit of the runaround, you get a hold of Peter Klein and put him to work. He will get everything that you have paid for and deserve, all the benefits and the peace of mind that comes with that. Let them do the heavy lifting. You just take care of you. They got you. Whether it's business, personal, McLeod-law.com is the place to go. So trade is done. Markstrom is off to New Jersey. Kevin Bahl and a first in 2025, unprotected, and salary retention for
Top 10 protected, not unprotected.
yes, top 10 protected, and
Just
they're
in case someone's
keeping
listening.
some dough.
Yeah, it's a lot of bending for the Flames here, which wonders how much leverage is being exerted from the Markstrom camp.
It does look like Markstrom had some influence. When I see all of that, I go,
Right?
And it's not a bad deal in
No,
the sense that
yeah.
you're getting a first and a guy that you think can fit into your identity for a while, but you're also eating salary, and it's also not this year's first. Like,
It's the opposite of a bidding war. This feels
Correct.
like you were in a spot where you had to trade him.
Yeah.
And I know that, and this is not to dispute what Eric Francis, because Francis had a thing with Conroy.
that felt like a
That,
smoke screen.
Conroy had said, no, there's no, well, of course, I don't think Markstrom was coming back. I think he had made that perfectly clear. And this is what you get. So look, maybe we were off, but I don't know that we were. It's hard. If you're disappointed, we get it. It's not the 10th overall pick. It's not going to be 10th overall next year either, because it's
Could be 11, but that's highly unlikely. Yeah.
right? So yeah, it's again much like it was with the Tanev deal and Jim Nill. You felt like Jim Nill did some great work there. Feels like Tom Fitzgerald got what he wanted here. Now,
Didn't look
as
like
it
a
moves
bidding war,
forward, what is Markstrom? What will he be for them? How good will Wolf be? What is Kevin Bahl? What do you get with this pick? Do you use it? Do you trade it? That's all. Man, it's going to take years and years for that to come down. I guess the other thing that we get caught up in all the time is we watch, and Markstrom's been great. Well, we're going to trade him. Okay, well, he's been really great. You know what I mean? As soon as you're trading that asset, oh, he's worth the 10th, maybe the 10th and more. Here's a guy that's, what is he, 30? No, listen, you're more guilty than anyone of doing it.
Well,
Like,
you make
you really
your point,
are.
I'll respond. Go ahead.
When the guy's about to be traded, he's so great, he's been really good. And then when it's got, well, at the same time, he was 36. And then the year before
He was leading the league in goals saved above expected midseason. That's not a feel. That's data. Like, he had a sensational year until the second pair went away.
What I'm saying is that I think there's a tendency to overvalue the player that you are looking to trade. And it's hard when this type of a return comes in.
Yeah, because it looks like this wasn't a bidding war. This was we have to deal with one person. Let's get as much as we can. I think there's a bidding war. You can get 10, but it just doesn't look like there was one here. Right? Like, I don't think we're wrong to say 10 was in the neighborhood of a fair deal. But if there's not a bidding war, you're not going to get the best offer. Like, we know that. That's just simple. So, were we out to lunch thinking you could get 10 overall for Jacob Markstrom? No, I don't think we were. Do you believe that this was the best offer from 31 other general managers? No, it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, it does feel like this was, we have to get this deal done. So you got a first and a prospect, but the first isn't the first you wanted, and I'm guessing the prospect isn't really what you wanted, and you ate salary.
Yeah, and Craig has noted in the press release a quote about Kevin Bahl, and look, this is a press release, so he's not going to say, yeah, we wanted more and we actually wanted this guy, but just in terms of how the Flames view him moving forward. Quote, for quite some time, we had identified Kevin Bahl as a priority player. He is a strong defender with size who plays with an assertive game and tremendous presence. While his 6'6", 230-pound frame is an imposing asset, he uses his body intelligently, has good mobility, and makes smart puck decisions. Kevin fits our identity. We're excited to acquire him now as he can continue to grow with our group. He sort of checks a lot of good Branson boxes for me.
I was going to say, is he in that, he probably won't move as well as Zadorov did. Is his brain, on Zadorov level, is it a little bit higher?
Better defensively.
He was on, he was on the World Junior team back in 2020 for whatever that's worth. He was a second-round pick, and he's moved around, but I don't know that that's. You look at the trade. It's Taylor Hall. If you have a chance to get Taylor Hall, you're making whatever it takes to get that deal done. But
he's been a highly touted prospect, and he's a guy that you wouldn't be surprised took a while. He's 6'6", 230.
And the point you make too, it's when you try and figure out what is he. Well, you look at
he's a defensive defenseman, yeah.
Is it where would he slot in? Well, he was kind of a second pairing guy without Dougie Hamilton, but a second pairing guy. He'll be more than that here. What he was in New Jersey, it's the same thing as Sharon Govich. What was he in New Jersey? It didn't matter. What was he in Calgary?
Well, and I think he averaged 17 minutes last year, so I'd sort of say he's more of a 5 than a top 4 guy. You don't get many second pair.
17-24 average time on ice.
Yeah, so that feels kind of 5-ish to me. Maybe I'm out to lunch, but
not a lot of PIMs, so this isn't a rugged, tough customer. I don't think this is just a big. Well, hopefully he moves well, but here we are. So now Markstrom, Elias Lindholm, Nikita Zadorov, Hanifin, they're all gone. Tanev gone.
And if you had to grade things, and as time passes, it's easier to grade, the Toffoli deal's a win. He got an equivalent or better player, plus a third rounder, and the guy's younger, has more team control. Toffoli's already gone from New Jersey. I think the Lindholm deal is a clear victory. It was a really bad year for Elias Lindholm. They ended up getting 5 assets, including a first-round pick in there, and Hunter Brstevich, who had a monster year and will join the Wranglers this season as an offensively minded wizard on the blue line. That's a clear win. I think the Zadorov deal was light because the third rounder is 3 years down the road. That if it was a third this year, that's sort of closer. But look, Zadorov's asked for 6 a year. You should be able to get more than a third in 3 years for a guy like that, a third and a fifth. So perhaps a touch light there. Tanev's light. And I think the Hanifin one, it totally depends how you feel about Danil Miramanov, because he doesn't look like an 8. He absolutely looks like an NHL defenseman. Now, whether he's a 5 or a 4, I don't know. But if he's running your power play, playing 20 minutes a night, that feels like a pretty fair deal with an unprotected first rounder, albeit down the road. So it's the very mixed bag that you see from a lot of GMs. There are clear wins, there are clear losses, and there's somewhere like, we're not sure. It looks kind of fair, to be honest. This feels light. It feels like their hands are tied a bit.
Yeah, the Miramanov thing, he's not running on the power play on many teams.
No, and look, he's 26, but he's still been listed as a prospect in a lot of scouting services because he hasn't accrued, that huge number of NHL games. I think he's still under 100. If he's a guy that could run a power play unit, that's a valuable asset. It's not a throw-in. It's not an AHL guy, right? Like, it's not.
No, but that's what you said. He's running the power play.
No, I'm saying then that's a clear win. Like, I don't know that he does that, but the tools are there that he could become that guy. So you have to see if he hits that ceiling or not. Like, when we talked about Miramanov in the wake of that deal, it's like, the guy's hardly played. He's coming off major surgery. Like, he's played like 40 games in 2 years or something ridiculous, like less than that. Like, you have a much better idea now, but there's still, like, give him a full season. This looks like an NHL player, and at the time, I'm not sure of that.
I'm still a little. I'm not quite as far down the road as you are. I need to see a little bit more, as far as being convinced that he's an NHL guy and he's a 4 or a 5 or whatever. It's the end of the season. Guys have been traded out. The team is not making the playoffs. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he is.
Yeah,
and the fact that he hasn't played a lot. Well, part of it's injury. Part of it is Vegas is a very good team.
Both, yeah.
And or is it if he were that good, he would have forced somebody out of a spot? I don't know. Yeah. What it is, the other day we kind of went through and we looked at the depth at forward and we joked about it, kind of tongue in cheek or being dicks about it. But there's a bunch of third lines. The defense feels a lot the same way here, as without seeing this guy play a ton. Kevin Bahl does not feel like he's a top 3.
No, God, no.
Miramanov is
yeah,
not a top 3. We'll see what Brustevich is. I can never
Couple
remember
years away.
the Russian they got in the Tanev deal.
Vershikov's got no ceiling. He's a
It's
third pair at
just-
best. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I just thought when this was all going to be said and done, all of these guys were going to leave, and they got some first round picks, and we'll see how that pans out.
Mhm.
But the bodies that came in, the prospects, we'll see with Brustevich. He feels like he's a higher
Yes.
end. None of these other prospects really get my blood pumping a ton here.
Yeah, we've got a draft preview show dropping on, I believe, Friday, and Derek Newmeyer of McKean's came in, and they had just finished, I believe, a organizational prospect rankings. I think the Flames are like 12, and that's before they used their 9 selections at the draft this year. So they're going to move into the top 10 in terms of prospect pools. That's nice. That's a big change. But what the system has is a lot of quantity and no blue chips. Like maybe Matthew Coronado could be a top line winger. Maybe Dustin Wolf could be a starter in the NHL. Everyone else just has that support piece vibe about them, whether it's middle 6 winger or depth center, or maybe if things go right, he could be a second pair defenseman. They haven't added anyone's best organizational prospect. And to be fair, I think GMs are too smart to give up the best prospect in your system for 2 months of a rental, right?
Right.
You've seen it happen, but it's rarer and rarer. And what they have amassed is 6 picks in the next 3 first rounds. That's the real valuable part here, that, we don't know where these picks are going to fall. That 2016 pick could be in the top 10 from Vegas. It could be number 32. A lot can happen in 2 years. So the grading's going to be difficult until you see where those picks are. Never mind who they use with those picks. But they haven't gone out and mined a top organizational prospect. And to be fair, I don't know that they've had the chips to do it. You probably could have done it with Markstrom, but not without some other leverage in negotiations in terms of a bidding war.
Just watching Warner's face.
Sadness setting in.
It's
Or
complete
exhaustion.
indifference.
Well, you can't be me and bitch about the projection. Is that the right word? The trajectory of the team, and say, "Oh, we got to hit rock bottom to get some of these talented players."
And then when they do it,
and then they dump guys and they get a bunch of picks. Be ho hum. Like, I think the Flames are going to have to be bad,
this
and
is
they're
part of the
going to
process.
have to hit on picks.
Yeah.
There's no, and you can keep your fingers crossed that Zari is a top guy, or Zari, however, you can keep your fingers crossed on a lot of them. Coronado, be good, be a 30-goal guy. Sharon Govich again, 30-goal guy. They still aren't. Of course, it's Connor McDavid, but you watched what the best in the world do, and they make you win.
Yeah, no
Matthew
one's throwing that
Tkachuk.
player in a
Matthew
trade, right?
Tkachuk. I know, Ryan, but
No, I'm with you. I'm agreeing.
that's what it takes to win in this league. That's why Edmonton's still playing. I'm not saying you need to get the best player ever, because I think that's what he is, but you have to have super talented blue chippers that are going to come through for you. You need Bedard-ish type players. We don't have it.
And the draft, to your point, it has to happen through the draft. All this other stuff is just secondary.
Yes.
These 6 first rounders, that's going to determine how long this takes.
You're not going to make a trade and get a top 5 forward centerman in the NHL.
Hey, we're just looking for a franchise number 1 center who's like, 18 to 23.
Yeah, and we'll give you a 36-year-old goalie.
Like, no.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, my face is a little bit indifferent. I was hoping that Markstrom had come to the Flames and said, just get me the F out of here. Here's 5 teams. You figure it out. It doesn't look, to me, it doesn't come across that way. And then you deal with things as they are. Okay, well, it's Jersey, or maybe there was one other team, and that's why they got as much as they did. Maybe they were going to get less. Maybe that's the salary retention part. It's like, but lost my train of thought.
And I'll throw this out there, and it's just fodder for conversation. The point I was going to get to, and I kind of lost it, I guess. When you're following a team or you're a fan of a team, maybe you overvalue your guys. How much is it out there that if you're a team and you're negotiating to get Jacob Markstrom and you're trying to undersell him, it's like, well, this guy's 36 years old. 2 years ago, he had a save percentage under 900. What if they were trading last year's Markstrom this year?
Can't do it.
Couldn't do it.
And that's why you had to do it this summer. It was that you couldn't risk another off year where he's 885 with a horrible D in front of him. It had to happen this summer.
Exactly. You couldn't.
And it's more about going through this process than saying like, shit, you should have got another 10% on the deal. So we're going to hold him till this year and it turns into a pumpkin. You can't let that happen. You just couldn't.
And part of it is too, with this trade, we believed it was coming. Well, the draft is next week. So the trade, it has to involve a pick from the draft. It's just kind of how the timing works. Not so much. Not so much. So the Devils keep their 10th overall. So 2 picks, as you said, 6. So 2 this year, 2 next year, 2 the year after that.
2016.
They're back to
3 next summer. One of them will go to Montreal.
They got that second. They have a second first rounder after the one they gave up for Monahan.
So what you want to do is finish bottom 10, have Florida win the cup again, go back to back, and then you happily give away 32 and sit with 2 picks at the draft next year.
Win the cup again. Yeah.
Easy.
We'll get Florida to go back to back.
Yeah.
Let's start with this one.
I do want to flash this card that from Jay Fresh and Kevin Bahl. And look, this isn't for everyone. Not everyone loves this, but this is just based on data. Your strength you're going to see is the blue stuff. Defense first, penalty killer, plays against good competition, has played with good teammates. And, there's not a lot of offense here. That's what this card's telling you. He will not play power play. Don't expect him to get points. I just keep coming back to Goodbranson. It's a 6'6", 230-pound defense first guy that will be best served to be on a third pair with that skill set. And he'll kill penalties for you, and you won't worry about putting him out with a minute left against the other team's top line because he'll be able to eat a puck in the corner for 20 seconds. Like, that's the profile that this card's telling you here.
With that being described to you, Rhett, how do you feel?
Well, I don't think it's what you want for Markstrom. It's what you got for Markstrom. It doesn't. We aren't in the meetings. How do I feel? Disheartened, I guess, but indifferent in it as well, because I think next year the team's going to struggle, and it's the picks that are going to dig them out of it. Kevin Bahl is not going to be. I'm hopeful that he's a solid defenseman for the next decade in Calgary.
And I honestly feel like it's, and it sounds like I'm carrying water. I don't think it's a indication that Conroy is doing a poor job. I think it's an indication of what was there.
Yeah, and
it's a goalie who held all the cards.
Yeah,
held all the cards
and was willing to whine about it.
Yeah, and you got whatever it is. It's a first round pick, and you got a guy he's an NHL defenseman, and you need NHL defensemen. So you got a guy that's going to play every night and a first round pick for a guy that wanted out and gave you no wiggle room as far as where to go.
But yeah, which we think might be the case. And what we won't know, which is interesting, you'd love to fire the truth serum somewhere. What was the deal that fell apart in February? Was it essentially this? And look, it would have been the 2024 pick. Right. But if Markstrom goes there, he was lights out for the month after that fell apart. It's a pick in the 20s. It's not 10. We can't hop in the time machine, but I am curious if you'd put these two deals next to each other, how similar, how different they'd be. Because we never really got any confirmation. We asked Dreger, we asked Seravalli. No one will go on the record about what they thought was included in that deal. Some think it's Holtz, some think it's a first, some think it's both, some think it's neither.
Not that we are probably going to care a whole lot. I don't think Flame fans are really going to care, but I guess I'm partially curious to see what Markstrom does for New Jersey. You think it's just an automatic that he's a very good goaltender. He's going to go in there and be very good. These things don't always fall into place just like they should. It's a different team, coach, style, conference, the whole thing. I feel like it's a very nice upgrade for them, but I wonder to what extent. I don't think they missed the playoffs again, but I wonder how it works out for them.
They were the 5th highest odds to win the cup before the start of the year.
Yeah.
And I think people forget that. They had beaten a very good New York team that has all the pieces they have this year in round 1 after falling in a 2-0 hole. They were favorites to win the Metropolitan Division at some sports books. This is a team that got horseshit goaltending and got thinned out on the blue line. I think they put themselves in that class with Carolina and New Jersey and the Rangers in that division. They say, why not us? If we have our healthy forward group can probably hang with all the others, if not better, with what you saw from Jack Hughes. And if we have Dougie Hamilton back, and now we finally have someone to stop pucks, here we go.
Dougie Hamilton and a goalie, that team's going to be good. And he doesn't have to be Vezina goalie. Like if
No.
he's in the top 20 in goaltending, from where they were to that is massive.
They
So,
probably had like 30th, 31st, or 32nd rated goaltending in the NHL this year. And Akira Schmid had that nice debut in the playoffs when they turned that series around against the Rangers. And like, it's the guy. We got him. It's like, no, it wasn't the guy. And you're using, Nico Dawes and him looking for anyone to give you saves. And they both look like guys that need time in the American League still.
And the Wolf era is officially on in Calgary.
It's kind of the buried lead when you look at next year's roster, isn't it? We've spent more time talking about a third pair defenseman and a guy playing in another market. Like, there's going to be a lot of Dustin Wolf opportunity next year.
On what we project to be probably a team that's going to give up a lot of chances and may not be very good.
Yeah. So, I mean, they've played Miramanov with Uyghur. They've played Rasmus to not a lot of success with Shillington. I don't know that either of those guys are superb defensively. Bahl is a good defender. We saw the card. Like, that's the one thing he does well is suppress chances at his own end. What else do they add to that group? Because I do think you have to add a defenseman, even if you're not trying to be good or you're.
This is the issue I have. Sorry for jumping in on you, but it's what you're just about to say. Even if you're not trying to be good, I think they're still going to be a little bit too good.
Like, they were close to a top 5 pick this year, like a matter of points, and they only deleted that pair like with 30% of the season left. I think they're a long way from.
I think they're trying to not be as bad as I hope they are. I guess I'll say that.
I think they are too, but I think they're a little out too much.
Okay, how does that? So you think they're not
weird?
They think they're probably can go add.
They're trying to be better
okay.
than I hope they are bad.
I don't think top 5's out of reach, even if you go get a D. That's my point.
Still not really sure what that is. Yeah.
I got it right.
Okay, let me try again.
I think Conroy and management are trying to thread a needle where they're actually okay, but still get a top 5 pick is really what
let's make the playoffs. We get the first overall pick.
That doesn't work.
Yeah.
They might try to be good and spend some money that's not well spent and still be top 5 pick anyway. That's kind of what I feel like is going to happen.
Huh.
Like, Chandler Stevenson doesn't come in and this team makes the playoffs. I'm sorry. Like, you go sign a defenseman for 4 years. You're not a playoff team.
But that's where, and I guess that's the question I have and thoughts in my head. It's like, then don't do any of it. Like, because even if Chandler Stevenson and this defenseman get you 8 more points.
Yeah. Your pick goes from 4th to 7th or something.
4.
Yeah.
Pardon my French. What for? Because you think you're going to get more seats in the stands?
Maybe that, but maybe also that you don't absolutely throw Dustin Wolf on the trash heap with the type of hockey he has to play behind.
I guess.
And then
that's the one thing I worry about is that you got a young goaltender that you don't want to be left out.
It's when you look at the roster, there's actually a lot of very good defensive players. There's just no game breakers offensively, right? Like Uyghur, very good player for the results defending. Yeah. Ball's added to that group. You already have the backline line with Coleman. Nazem Kadri's a good 200-foot player. I don't worry about like this team losing 8-6, but if you want to make Wolf's life a little easier, go get a stay-at-home D-man that can play 20 minutes a night.
Kevin Bahl.
Another one. Kevin Bahl.
Cap space, you got about 25 million now, by the way. So the ball
don't even care about it. I get that it's there. I just don't know why it's a topic for us.
Well, I what it tells you is you've got the ability to do a lot of things, whether it's take a bad contract or overpay for 2 years of tutelage for one of your kids to watch how a veteran does it.
It's probably the first time since we started doing talk shows together that the Flames haven't been bumping right up against the cap.
Not yet.
They've been that team for so long. It's a different, because even when they were missing the playoffs, they were still right at the cap.
Yep. They spent to the cap the whole time. Most teams do in this league. Like we haven't seen them with tons of cap space. And I think because when they do, there's a lot of the pressure to get there sooner and GMs spend it.
So, that'll make ownership happy. Well, okay, if we're bad, but we're not spending all that money now. So there's some
So we're going to
savings.
lose 15 million in ticket
Or
revenue.
the owners and the management
But-
go, well, we've got 20 million to spend. Boy, we could really upgrade this squad.
Think of the
Danger.
possibilities. Well, speaking of free agency, coming up July 1st, the Daily Face-Off live free agency special. You'll find it on the Daily Face-Off YouTube channel. Tyler Yaremchuk, Frank Seravalli, former NHLers Carter Hutton, Colby Cohen, and guests from across the league will break down all the trades, the impact on the teams involved, and predict the future of what the free agents will bring to their new team. The inside scoop and all the wheeling and dealing. It's going to be from 9 a.m. You see there the Eastern time, 9 a.m. until noon Mountain time.
Oh, yeah.
It's the Daily Face-Off live free agency special on the Daily Face-Off YouTube channel. I know I'll be watching because we're not doing a show.
Could be streaming that.
We're not.
Totally. No, I don't think we're going to do it. Well, we just kind of laid out about how active we really want doesn't mean they're listening, but how active we expect they're going to be.
Yeah. And again,
sure
I think we're being rational that, look, there's a clear path to contend. It's going to take a while, and it needs to be through the draft. We also would be foolish to not look at the club's history. They have not taken the patient, built through the draft approach. They've always tried to take shortcuts in free agency. So I also wouldn't be surprised if they did have a couple guys, right?
Yeah, I'm curious because it feels like we're a little uncharted here. Whereas they're not a cap team, it's new management. We've not really seen. We saw, I guess, Kiprasov and Iginla and Bouwmeester that one stretch there, but this has been a offloading of talent. Craig Conroy, was it a year ago? When did he get hired?
Yeah.
The trades that he has done, what he's been in charge and have done in the last calendar year, I can't imagine many GMs have done that ever in their first year, let alone in a calendar year. But I do wonder if they're all kind of on board and on the same page when it comes to free agency, which doesn't mean you can't go out. You can go out July 1 and get the guy you want, but is it like you say, a depth defenseman or a defender, 3 years, 3 million per, 2.5 per, whatever it is, as opposed to blowing your brains out for a guy like, not to throw anybody in, James Neal.
Yeah, and to be fair, like they've been tied to Jake DeBrusk. This is a silly season with rumors. He's a free agent. He's 27. He's made $4 million. Like if they went 5 years times $6 million, $30 million to Jake DeBrusk, you'd be like, well, he's not a bad player, and that might be what he's worth. But like, what are we doing here? It would look like the traps that they stepped into for the last decade and a half, wouldn't it?
That's 100% the issue. Because the deal can be actually a decent deal. You can get a decent player, and it just puts you in a spot to not get the players that we just said you need to get.
The franchise centerman at the top of the draft.
Think they're done? As far as
I think they are done.
It feels like there's a Mangiapane deal to be made at some point, but that doesn't
Nothing.
feel like it's...
I think it's a year off because there's no sense trading them because you have all that cap space and you're going to get nothing in return. Let him play.
If you see a guy on the board late in the second round that you're absolutely wild is still there, and you could eat half a Mangiapane and get that pick, sure. But otherwise, yeah, I don't see urgency there.
Yeah, that takes the other team really wanting Mangiapane and not seeing that second round pick as well. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah,
and look, that might not be very likely, but maybe Brad Treliving's sitting there saying, like, I could use this guy on my third line. We've got a lot of money in our top two lines, and I gave this guy 5.8 a year because I do believe he can go get 25. I think I put him with the right player. He could do it again here. Now I get him at half price. It's the last year. Cap hits low. Like you could talk yourself into a team saying we'll do it, but I agree. I don't think it's hot.
Yeah.
That could happen at the deadline and you just pay less, right? In terms of the salary owed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if there's one thing they add in free agency, would it be a veteran goalie to buy a little buffer for Vladar? I'm a little worried about the Vladar situation, given the significance of the surgery and that the time frame is like, yeah, he'll be ready right about training camp. Is that? I would hate to see Dustin Wolf with no insurance policy to start the year.
Yeah, I don't.
Not for the team's sake and winning, but
yeah,
if the guy needs a breather, he shouldn't have to go out again in the second half of a back-to-back type thing, right?
Without knowing the Vladar details, right? It's if he's going to be good to go, then I don't know.
I think last year, this time, there was the thought that, oh, you can't lose him on waivers. What if he turns into this great goalie? Now no one's going to claim him. He's coming off injury, and he's had 3
That's
years of
correct.
man numbers, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like, go get another vet. $1 million. Come on down, Cam Talbot.
I'm trying to think back to my career and just Rasmus Anderson, Mackenzie Weegar, Backlund, Coleman. What's the mindset now? Like, you're sitting here, like, Kadri's notorious for not working out. What is he got to be like? What's his mindset right now watching this? Markstrom just left, so this is we're effed. Like, they
From the
probably
team
saw the right.
perspective, it's Anderson. Because, like, if you want to
No,
move,
no.
Blake
I'm just
Coleman,
saying for the minds,
Yeah.
all these guys and their mindsets for the summer, as far as okay, because you play, and it's a business, and you play because you love the game, but you play because you want to effing win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And both Weegar and Coleman have been they've been on record or whatever you want to call it. They've been interviewed and have talked about it. It's like, yeah, this sucks. And for
Not
Coleman,
what-
it's like
Not what I signed up
you're
for.
getting paid. You're getting very fairly compensated for what you're doing, but you did
Everyone
sign
is.
here. You picked Calgary and you came here. I'm guessing you didn't think you'd be in the summer of 24. Looking at the team and the roster the way it is. And for Mackenzie Weegar, you signed the long-term contract. You too are going to make a lot of money. You're very well compensated, but you probably, it would suck as you watch all these guys grab their bag and head out the door and no studs come in.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, this guy, he's a franchise player. This guy, maybe not there yet. A couple years, 3 years down the road, this guy's a stud. There's none of that either. So
No.
You're selling leadership. That's all you're selling. Because if you've got term, like, they just can't move you. Rasmus Anderson's a totally different situation entirely, because he can force team's hand. He can get out and they can get a haul for him. So it can be worth the Flames' while to trade him. He's a free agent in 2 years. So he'll be 30 on his next deal. It's the type of guy you'd want to have 2 years ago say, yeah, we're going to lock him up, keep him around. But if in 2 years you're last in the NHL and this guy's 30 and wants market rate for a defenseman, I don't see a fit there.
and why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he want
Wouldn't blame him.
right?
He's going to want market rate for sure.
Yeah.
And so, and he's making so much less money than he's worth. What is it, 4.5 or something hilarious? Like, teams would take him right now. And that's a ticket that's much more valuable than the Markstrom one, because he's 27, he's on an under market deal, and he doesn't have this crazy trade protection that Markstrom had. He's got a 6-team no trade. So that's a 23-team. We can do it. Or a 25-team. We can do it. Right. Like, that's a huge chip that they hold. They don't have to play it anytime soon. They don't have the depth to just have a decor with him gone right now.
Yeah.
But it's a card that Connie can play, and I'd expect him to play the next year and a half.
And he feels like a guy to me, and I still am a fan, but he feels like he's been a little up and down. It feels like an emotional guy to me.
He's better when the team's good, right? When the games matter more, he's invested more. I think
these are that's where the whole point of it was like, what are these guys' motivations and during the off season? And I'm not even belittling. It's just hard going into a season knowing you're like, oh God, like,
we're going to get our heads bashed in.
This is going to be 82 of let's try to hang on and not get,
And so last year you had two of those guys have excellent years. Like, you could argue career years in Weegar and Kadri. Now, they would have come in with the expectation we're still going to be good.
They were in a playoff hunt till February.
Until Feb. The guy that didn't deal well with it all was Rasmus. I think he had one of his worst years in a while. And it could be anyone this summer could say I'm dejected, I'm not into it, but I would worry more about Rasmus than the other two if you're catching what I'm putting down here.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No, I do. I see it the same way.
4.5. It's a deal.
And this is another one of those things too. We can be negative and have here's what I don't think the Flames, I think they'll flirt for a playoff spot. I think their playoff team, maybe this is the first time in a while where really the roster construction, I think as we sit here, like, this is not a playoff team.
No,
this is not close to being a playoff team. There's no, are they better this year than last year, or what? It's long gone. Feels long gone.
Is Anderson the piece that they can move to get what we've discussed.
I think if there's one thing left to move, it's probably that guy.
And
Because
why?
there's enough-
So and I know we continue to stipulate. Well, we can't. We don't want to be that bad. And Wolf and the D's already weak. But if I'm just thinking, like Treliving is sitting in Toronto, going, God damn it, I need a defenseman.
How about one that's
Anderson at 4.5 is heaven. It's heaven and earth on a platter for Treliving. It's anything, right? Like, is that not exactly what
There's
Treliving
probably
would be?
a number of teams that would love to have.
That's my point.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
just using
yeah.
Tree as a. But what are you getting in return?
that's where you get the bidding war, and that's where you win.
But, and I
So-
get that you can push it out. Do it now. I'm just working this out in my head. It's the same scenario as Markstrom. What the F upside is there to letting Anderson have, if it's possible, I'm not saying he does, but if it is possible that he's got a shitty attitude about it, not playing as well, and potentially getting hurt. He's healthy. He's healthy right now.
Yeah, if you get the deal you like, I think you absolutely should do it. It's just
You
that
should
got
be shopping
2 years,
him
right?
right now is what I'm trying to get at. The
His
more I
name's been out
think
there,
about
man.
it
Yeah.
and take that money, you got all that cap space, you talk about it, you can sign defensemen that can play decently defense or decent. Well, how did I say it, dude? Defense and
Decently,
decent, defense decently,
Nailed it.
and just get a. What do you need to hang on to Anderson for? I think you trade him right now. Now my whole opinion's changed, and it was right in my own head.
Look at that. You talked yourself into it.
I would do it
And
because I don't know what the upside on keeping him around is, and he's such a. And maybe again we're homers and we're overvaluing what we have, but I just look at it. And Toronto always pops in my head. They need a defenseman.
You go put him in the best team in the league, he's still top
Anderson.
4.
Rasmus Anderson is a 23-minute defenseman, loves to compete, and makes 4.5. And eat half of it for him if that help. Like,
yeah.
It's especially the contract that makes him very attractive. Because he's a very solid player. Okay, on our team he's a 3. Okay, we could use him as a 2, whatever it is. Like, sure, but at 4.5, like Nikita Zadorov is going to make a lot more money than him this year. That's insane. Like Nikita Zadorov can't do the top pair thing, right? Like this is a guy that can go to contenders, and who can't squeeze in a $4.5 million 2-3. That's what he is.
That's exactly.
And you love having those types of guys around that do compete and want to win and playing in games that matter.
You've got your examples already. Because I think maybe Mackenzie Weegar is movable. I don't know, but I'm just saying you have Backlund is not going anywhere. I think Cadre's a tough move. I think Huberdeau's a tough move. I think Coleman's tough. Like, you have enough veteran guys to set that standard already, right?
He was the one who struggled with it last year.
You have to be, you have to be professional. If you play hard and set a standard of what's acceptable for the younger guys coming through, you don't need 15 of them. Like Rasmus Anderson doesn't need it's just another piece. I don't know. I didn't even think about him until you said his name today, Pinder. But the more I do, I'd be like, get him the hell out of here. Hey,
because you're married to some vets
that
here.
10th
He's
pick?
not that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A 6-team, no trade.
And you're right. We might be out to lunch again, right? Maybe your team, we do second round pick. And then you're back in that, well, we'll just keep them and play them. We're not going to trade them now for that. But you're right. It would feel like, and I think we're like, take all the flame honk out of it. I think yes, I agree with everything that Pinder said there. And that's very rare. I think you could play. The contract is a good one. You should be able to fit that in if you're a team, regardless of where you are in your competitive, arc. And he is the type of guy you want to play big minutes, penalty kill. Is he a power play guy? Probably not if you're a really good team. He wasn't. That's debatable. We debated
second
that a long
unit,
time.
maybe though.
But you love, he would
50-point season a couple of years ago.
Plays it hard, plays a lot. I don't think we're off on him.
I don't either, and I don't think we were off on Markey. It feels more and more like hands were tied when you see
Hands are tied there. That's just it. And that's why this scenario was even more appealing, because it's like, yeah, give me your 6. I know what they
so maybe you do go sign that middle pair defenseman to veteran guy to the 3-year at a little more money than everyone else offering him on a 2-year, just to get some more bodies there. And then yeah, we can now go to market with Rasmus Anderson and whoever loses out on the D market, or geez, we really wanted to re-sign Zadorov and Cole, but shit, look at this at 4.5. He's a much better player than both these guys. Like, no, okay, we'll make another. Like, there's
again, checkers, chestnut checkers. Not building the team with what you have today, but what you anticipate it being over the next year to 2 years. We'll get to the Pinder report here. Just seeing another trade has taken place today. Ty Dellandrea of the Dallas Stars has been traded to San Jose for a 4th rounder in 2025.
Depth center, a highly touted guy, I believe, early 2nd rounder or late 1st rounder. But
I think it was a first.
You've been waiting for it to pop. Yeah. And to be fair, it's a pretty deep forward group. He'll get a lot of opportunity in San Jose.
Yeah. And with Stankoven kind of busting right through, less room for him.
Looks like he's got the profile of sort of that shutdown bottom 6 center. We'll see if there's offense there in San Jose.
All right. Well, let's get to the Pinder report. It's a presentation of Village Honda. They want you to save the date, August 24th. It's the 4th annual Honda and Acura Show and Shine. The event gets bigger and better every year. They've got the awards lined up for Best in Show, Best in Modified, Best Classic. And new this year, it's the People's Choice Award. Register now. If you've got a vehicle, you want to be a vendor, you want to get involved, villagehonda.com is the website. You'll find the details there. Right now, it's the Pinder report.
Thank you, Dean. The Markstrom news, huge. Obviously, the news of the day. He's off to do the New Jersey Devils. If you just missed it, it's a 2025 first-round pick of the Devils going to Calgary, as well as Kevin Bahl, who is now on his 3rd team after being drafted by the Coyotes, traded in the Taylor Hall deal to New Jersey, and now coming to Calgary in the Markstrom swap.
The answer was Bahl.
The answer was Bahl. He, a former 2nd-round pick. He 6'6", 230. He's strong defensively. He maybe not that physical, but large body. Flames are training what sounds like about $2 million of the $6 million deal. That gets Markstrom down to 4. That's a guy that's going to get Vesta votes for $4 million for the next 2 years for Jersey. Very nice. That's the deal. Dustin Wolf, get ready to dance, baby.
It's hard not to be underwhelmed. We really told ourselves, you're going to have 9 and 10.
It would have been so fun. Do we stay up on the stage? Do we go back down? We're back to,
Conroy, you better wear comfy shoes because you're going to be going up to that. It's just going to be
both jerseys up now. Who do we want to pick first?
2025. I'll probably be dead by then.
Top 10 protected.
My heart can't make it another year.
McDavid was doing McDavid things last night, guys. Somebody told me Corey Perry was back, and then I watched the highlight, and I said, no, that's a backdoor tap-in from the greatest player we'll see in our lives.
Yeah.
Keep your stick on the ice, and you too could score 25-30 with this gentleman.
Somebody grabbed the shot of the other angle where there's 4 red jerseys, the perfect box, and McDavid in the middle of it. It's like, this is an Oiler goal.
Yeah, and Corey Perry's back with that still.
Poor Mikkola.
No,
I mean,
right there.
What did Mikkola ever do to you?
Oh boy.
Hey?
Yeah.
Who was the other donkey out there? I mean, come on, guys.
Kulikov.
They're all donkeys.
Man.
That is true. When he's got a head of steam, I don't care how many All-Star.
He wasn't even going fast, which is what I think threw some of them off. They're like when's he going to wind it up?
Yeah.
When's he winding it up?
Yeah. Shit.
He'll get him. He's got him. I'll get him. Nope, you get him.
I thought you were going to get him. This is going to be on highlight reels forever.
Bob was ready for him. That's when he slid it over to the Ancient. Big goal for the Oilers. They win last night in dramatic fashion. Did we see the Sam Bennett nearly tied the game? Whiff side of the net.
Yeah.
Might have woke the neighbor's dog with that one. That was close. And Oilers are feeling good. But if somehow that gets in and this thing goes to overtime, that's 2 3-goal leads you blew in a single game.
They don't
with your
win if
season
it
on the
goes to
line.
Maybe
There it is, baby.
What's that, Red?
They don't win if it goes to overtime. Maybe McDavid could, but I think the Panthers were coming on strong.
If you erase
Also,
2
the
3-goal
refs were out.
deficits-
That you know what? That's what I was thinking all night. The refs were out to get the Panthers last night. That's what.
Missed that too many men, didn't they?
God damn right they did, bastards.
Mm.
Calling
It
cheap,
was too many
chintzy
for a
penalties.
while. Yeah.
It was an egregious mistake. Even when Kachuk's slapping his stick and the ref looks over, it was still too many.
Still 6.
But, you missed a flipping the puck out of play on the Panthers earlier in the series. Over 7 games, both teams are going to get shitty officiating. It's an NHL standard.
They were out
Yeah.
to stick. The NHL was sticking it to the Panthers last night.
Friggin' Bettman.
Friggin' Nenshi. What else do we have from last night? Jacko, I think it's later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after.
I think he should have kept skating. I think he made that looked like a bad slide into second for me. I did
Good result, but
in your chin.
one more stride, maybe. One more stride, Red.
I think he could have skated to get the puck. Honestly, when he watching it live, when I saw him, I'm like, what are you diving for?
That was the second one too. Matthias Janmark nearly.
Well, yeah, I
hit
had
the post.
Oh,
That felt like that was going to be a Patrick Steffen moment. Because to your point, Red, if you tie that thing and it's going to overtime and you've come back from down 3 twice, it could have been like that. That was the series, right? That empty net post didn't happen.
I don't want to drag this out, but I'm not impressed with Verhaeghe and Reinhardt. They're watching.
boys.
Reinhardt
They're-
was shit.
They're watching the game.
Get her going,
He
boys.
was watching that Bouchard shot on the power play. That's
They're
for
wa-
sure.
While they're watching it all over, they're not shooting. They're shooting it right into the odd
Right
time
in
they
the crest.
do, right into the crest, and they're not moving their feet. The Panthers started again. It's score. I get it, but the Panthers did start to drive the play, and the only 2 that couldn't keep up to help drive the play were Verhaeghe and Reinhardt
Yeah.
because they weren't skating. They're watching everyone else do work and hoping somebody got him the puck and that it just came to him on a tee. And it's like, get effing involved there, fellas. Like,
Yeah.
move your feet or your
The desperation-o-meter has definitely been an orange and blue, not red and yellow.
Anyway, my hot takes. If
That's
we
not.
would
That's,
we
I
would have
think,
talked
again,
about this for hours if we didn't have a Markstrom trade.
God
we're
bless
all
them.
in agreement there. I was barking at Reinhardt. It's like 57 in the regular season. That's tremendous. Do you want to give a shit right now? You know, this thing's
big
in
one.
the building. You want to
One
lift
more
that thing
big
over
bang.
your head? How about some give a shit here? Maybe hard to. That's got to be why for some of those guys you would think, and I would think for Paul Maurice, it's like this is now twice we've had a chance.
Yeah.
Do you
was a little
want how bad do you want it? Because they clearly know they want this bad. Can we meet that desperation? Can we meet that intensity? And if not, why not? Because that's been our calling card.
The Athletic updated their odds for the series after the game. This is Dom Luszczyszyn's model, which is very good. It's now 73-27. Sure don't feel like that, though, does it?
Well, you've got McDavid playing the way he's playing and the Oilers believing.
Yeah.
Sucks compared to where you were a week ago.
And
I
so
saw
you,
people writing last night that the Oilers lead this series 2-3. They're
that
in
is
the driver's seat.
absolutely how it feels.
They are
That
up
is
in
correct.
this series 2-3.
The Kachuk, we got a nice little meme here, fellas. Someone did some good twittering. Despite all my rage, I'm still just a rat in a cage. There's Kachuk who couldn't get it off its moorings. And
Push it off, Chucky.
Chucky, what are you doing?
good song, eh?
It's great.
Angry, screamy. You sang that song, Dean?
Smashing Pumpkins.
Thank you very much. Bill Zito, he was cool, calm, and collected. He knows there's 2 more chances to win this thing. There he is in the red tie, standing up. Get my cell phone. And first, I'll just fire this watch phone. Boy, jeez. Yeah, not happy. Got some NHL business done yesterday. Philip Peronic got a massive extension with the Vancouver Canucks. He's the partner of Quinn Hughes. Ain't great without Quinn Hughes, but don't worry, Quinn Hughes is going to be there for a while, and those 2 have been very good together. 8 years, $58 million, 7.25. Monster piece of work. He was an RFA a year away from UFA.
Why couldn't my D partner be good? and I could just come on.
Yeah, Phil
Who
had
would
a
have
little
been
more
somebody
offense than you.
in-
He's a power play guy.
Yeah, who would have been somebody in your day, Red? Who would have been that
Would it be Brian Campbell? Come on now.
Even
that elite defenseman?
Brian Campbell couldn't even play in the league till they changed the rules. He was, but yeah, I don't think they just never gave me a chance.
Did they
Dean.
put you
No,
with
they
Dion?
never did.
No, Dion
Never
maybe.
did.
Or should I played with Dion? Would that help? It's hard to play with.
You'd have an
Yeah.
extra coach. You played with
Yeah.
Dion. Also, Jacob Slavin got a deal. One of the best
Jake.
defensive.
I said, attaboy, Jake.
And about Jake, expected to come in at 8 times 6.5. It's not officially done, but that does sound like that's close to done. He isn't kicking in this new deal until after the coming season. He's 1 year away. And they
Good for
officially
him.
can't announce this till July 1. That's when you can extend guys. So
Yeah.
he'll be 31 to 38 for the 8-year deal.
6.5.
That's-
Not bad.
But that's a low number. And 6.5 in 8 years is going to feel like 4 and a quart.
That's right.
Now, as the cap continues to grow.
He
Far
might
next-
feel like half a quart if he's.
He'll be a few quarts low. He might just pack it in with LTIR with a few to go.
Yeah.
New draft rankings came out. Craig Button's final list. We love Craig.
More
Craig's
rankings.
not afraid to be a little spicy. Look at 3. Jesus. Craig, how could you do this to us?
For those that aren't
Biased.
watching, he has Tisha Ginla at 3.
Celebrini 1, yeah. Demidov 2, sure. Iginla, come on, Craig. Not even like to 7 or 8 where you could believe for a bit.
Lidstrom at 9.
Lidstrom at 9, I like. That's wow.
That'd be
That's
okay. I've been happy. with
Toolsy
that.
physical center, 6'3", 215
From
already.
Western Canada.
Tools.
Messing Hat Tiger. They'll be fun next year. Interesting list. Okay. Sadly, the baseball world mourned the passing of a legend yesterday. Heck of a life. I believe into his 90s. Willie Mays, one of the greatest. The only player in Major League history batted over 300 for his career. Stole 300 bases, hit 300 home runs, and 3,000 hits. So you say you're good, huh?
So what do you do well?
Yeah.
So
So what are
what's
you
your
good
call-
at, though?
What's your
What-
calling card?
Yeah.
What are the areas you need to work on? It's a hell of a career. Home runs, stolen bases, all-star selections, 20 plus, 10 gold gloves, 4 home runs in a game, multiple MVPs, rookie of the year. No one in MLB history has accomplished more of 3 of the 7 feats we just listed there. Oh,
Willie Mays. Hell of a player.
Did you see Snoop Dogg was doing some commentary on the Brewers broadcast the other day?
I did, yeah.
It was beautiful. It really was. Love Snoop.
There's a bouncing ball to second. Look at Terang. Pick it.
Easy to 1-2-1-2. That'll do what it do. Sanchez on the 1-2. What I told you, get it in there. Oh, he in there. That's Sanchez. That's yes. I told you, baby. We call that an easy walk in the park. That's the base hit. Give him a single. He does like to mingle. And my favorite jingle is the S to the N, double O, no.
You squeezed that in there already.
Oh, get it in there. Get it in there. He could just run it out. Ah, he's safe.
Run it out. It's tough to rhyme orange.
Yeah.
How about Jackson Churio?
Cheerio. Oh, boy. Cheerio. Live in stereo with my main man, Jackson Cheerio. Oh, he's
There you
taking
go.
off. He gone. Let him get there. Where'd he go, Perk? Earn mine. You got to earn mine, Perk. You got to earn mine. You getting mine.
Ratings
back.
are through
You
the
get my
roof if they give
respect.
this guy
Making up for that plane.
any local market. Just beautiful stuff. Snoop's got a gift. He's a special guy.
And he was at the Potawatomi Casino Hotel that night.
He's pimping some sort of a concert, but
Yeah.
got to call a game with
It
the
ain't
Brew
easy.
Crew broadcast team. Cool. Spicy P, remember him?
No.
Yeah, you do. How do you like, let's see what a basketball player is going to make. $189.5 million on a 4-year deal.
Oy vey.
Razor and I were.
And
We're
McDavid's
not-
like, maybe I could get up to 15 and raise the bar. What are we talking about here? $189 million. Not even a superstar. He's just good.
Razor and I were talking about our pension plan and how we were going to manage to get by when this came out.
Right. NBA is doing okay.
Do you think the league will ever pay for insurance? It's really expensive. I have to say.
189 million, self-insured. Spice P can buy the country he was born in now.
Maybe he'll pay for my insurance.
Maybe.
Honestly, hang out, start building bridges, Rhett. That guy's got some cash. I wonder if he likes dune bugging, because I saw you and Rob Ray were out dune bugging the other day. This is
after practice.
Dune bugging.
That feels like an optical illusion, Rhett. Well done. Love the hill climb. Now that the camera is tilted because you can see the guy standing, but still, that is not unsteep. The shoveler
You said you wanted to get out of the house yesterday, Dean. This is the sort of stuff.
Yeah. Go do
when the shoveler gets out of the house, we know she loves going to Toronto to shop. She's got to run the boys around, but her activity of choice, I forget what this is called, but it's like toy horse show jumping. I will have to watch. This is her in her latest competition. There's the toy horse. Whoa! What's this called and how long has she been doing it? This is a crazy sport.
She's working at this a long time. It's the trotter.
What's the horse's name? Do you remember the name?
Rusty.
Rusty got some hops. I didn't see that one coming.
Rusty.
That is something.
Yeah.
Well, and I think she got into the fake horse show jumping when the saddleboarding thing went sideways, because we remember the orcas with the paddleboard.
Oh yeah.
She couldn't do it again. She was scarred.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's okay. Hi. I'm just saying hi. Oh my god. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, dude.
It's all right. It's okay.
It's pure terror.
Yep. Oh, no. See you later. Anyway, I think the toy horse jumping thing's a little better for the psyche.
I like to think I'd have more composure in that moment.
You would have zero.
I'm not sure I would.
No
You
chance.
would be
Holy fuck.
You'd be like, I hope they hate the taste of shit because it's all over the paddleboard now.
Oh! You think you're just having a great day,
Hey,
had a
look.
coffee, gonna go for a paddle.
Nature. We're out whale watching. Look how great that is. They're getting very close. Oh my god!
I wouldn't worry about self-control because the heart would just stop and I'd plunk over and they'd eat me.
I shit myself. I'd be shocked if you didn't. Of course you did.
But you know what? We love endings where people don't get hurt, so that wasn't that bad. Well, unlike this. Oh.
Square.
That's he landed it, but
squared it up.
That's going to be a heck of a bruise for a long time.
Remember the Gumby toys you'd get and you'd
That
bend them
should
and
be
twist
a
them and they'd start to get the
t-shirt.
crack right up the middle and you're like, oh, Gumby, that's...
Yeah.
Again,
stupid.
I think we had a fight in some high school hockey, something like that. Let's take a peek at this, Rhett. Oh, they've been tossed, but that's...
Oh my god.
Oh, get some more in there. Let's go.
Oh my god. Oh shit. Oh my god.
Oh, there. Wow. Is that George Sweetland, Rhett? Getting that kid out of there?
Jesus, George.
That's a tough spot.
That's no good for anyone there. Skates, flip-flops, parents, teenagers.
Yeah, that's a tough spot.
No winners.
Because you'd be in there and then your kid gets grabbed and then some dad grabs your kid. I mean,
then it's on.
Then the wires touch, and you're
Yeah, you're going in there trying to do. Let's calm it
Hey,
down.
stop, stop.
Then some other dad tosses
Swings on your kid.
and you're like, oh,
Hmm.
now you have to take one.
Yeah.
Hi, Peter Klein. It's Burner. I know that this maybe isn't your area of expertise, but I get one phone call, and you're the best guy that I could think of.
Yeah, sorry, Dean. I'm just on the other line with Rhett. I've already heard about it all. I don't have
right
time
here with
to.
Rhett, why would you call? You knew I was calling him. What are you doing?
God damn it, Rhett.
Yeah, Rhett and I got into a bit of a pickle. Are you nearby?
And
You know what's
finally,
great? You can see there's some flip flops, some sandals, and guys tromping around on skates.
There's an Achilles just waiting to get
Oh
sliced.
boy!
oh yeah, just begging. Nothing good. Nope.
No.
I have to fess up.
Oh yeah.
I was pretty dinged up on Monday. I tried to play injured here. It's a tough weekend. I told you I was planning to go to the Surge game and then head out to golf with some of the buddies at the thing, but I actually caught a cheap flight to Germany to go watch England play because I'm a huge England supporter, obviously. And I mean, I got this video to share. It's tough day.
Okay, just walking out. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm shivering in the jacket on.
Passed out in the stadium, fellas. Got the shakes. Woke up at 4 a.m. in an empty stadium.
Yeah, I saw this the other day.
Welcome
and I
to
thought, is this made up or whatever? But
No,
then you get
that's-
thinking, if it's because there'd be staff and security,
Yeah.
they'd get this guy out unless he's so blind. He'd be like, we're not moving this guy.
He's going to wake up and walk out.
This guy's
Leave him be.
200 and whatever pounds. We're going to haul him down all these stairs. No, leave the drunk idiot. He'll wake up and then get him out. Well done, Pinder.
Big weekend. Anyway, starting to feel better.
Yeah, Monday was your thing, right? It was kind of everything sideways. Yeah. But at least I understand people around you were understanding.
Always are.
Yeah. Those people in your life, very sympathetic to your issues.
I deserve sympathy.
You certainly do.
That's your Pinder report on Wednesday.
Village Honda, the whatever it is. If you're in the market for a pre-owned vehicle, why go anywhere else? They've got all the vehicles that are on the lot, but they're part of the Wood Automotive Group. So if you don't see exactly what you're after, go and sit down and take a look at the entire database of vehicles. 500 or more inside the dealership group is why. Truly, Village Honda is your one-stop automotive destination in Calgary. VillageHonda.com. Yeah, I just some things I said we were going to look at here. Oliver Ekman-Larsson. It was like, when you're playing video games and your controller dies.
Yeah, tough.
It looked like OEL kind of had. Do you go dead controller that quick?
You're just like, there's like, that's a 200.
He might not see the puck even come. You know what I mean? Like
he's just like plays over. Like that's. But yeah, it's a horrible.
It's in.
McDavid saw it.
No question.
And you talked. Yeah. And of course, and it was one of those games where whenever something happened, it's McDavid. Whenever there was a turnover, a puck gets dropped, Florida's on a rush, puck gets poked away by a defender, every single 97. Not anybody else. He was unbelievable last night. He really was.
So he's the best.
Yeah.
And look, you can spin it both ways. You're like, that guy won't be denied. He can easily win 2 in a row. And the other is that's the best player we'll ever watch in our lives taking over a game. And they still nearly blew a pair of 3-goal leads. I mean, whatever feels better, tell yourself.
Yeah. Whatever helps you sleep.
Yeah.
Like there it is. That's what he's been up to.
8 points in 2 games. The series is over if this guy's nicked up. Yeah. Simple.
And again, it's, you don't want to jinx anything, but it's, you talk about Reinhart. Draisaitl has been very quiet. He's not right, clearly. And McDavid is, and it's weird because is he carrying them? Yeah, but it's not like the usual story where there's nobody else. They're managing.
Yeah, they got a superstar blue liner all of a sudden with the Carlson type profile. They're getting some saves. Their depth has been good, if not wowing.
Yeah. I have the one in there, Jack, of the Panthers' chances. I was just thinking, if you could recreate history, right? This is a tight hockey game in the third period. And Florida is down. They're at home chasing their first ever Stanley Cup on home ice. All the family is there. What a party it would be. Did I put it in there, Jackie boy? If not, I'll fire it.
I don't see it, Boom.
Okay, I'll throw it in because some guy got traded right when I was cutting
That happened today, didn't
cutting video. Oh, maybe I was like literally right in it here.
Well, you did get mad at Pinder for saying let's go, so maybe you didn't finish it.
Well, yeah. Anyway, I guess I didn't put that together. I was just you have the Janmark thing, goes off the post and misses the last sweep at it. And then you get the play by Tkachuk. If they come back and score and win it in overtime, it'd be like, this is the most unbelievable. Can you believe how close we were to losing this game? It would have been an unbelievable story. But
Patrick Steffen, right?
That didn't happen. And, they went back the other way.
Scoring chances 8-1 in the third period. I don't think we even need to tell you which team had 8.
Yeah. Innocent. Still have to win 2 games. My kid was very sour last night. Like, yeah, this has been, it's great. They're going to a game 6. They still need to win 2. There's no room for error here.
The next S-burger that Skinner goes in could end their season.
But again, if you want to show some urgency, Florida,
great.
You know what's on the line.
I think they did learn that last night. I think they realized, we have to go get this.
Yeah,
it's not
I do too.
Paul Maurice was not making Oprah jokes last night. He was a little frustrated.
Yeah, he was, and
rightfully so.
I thought the same thing, right? I don't know why. It's interesting you brought that up because you can't help but put yourself into their mindset. The first game in Edmonton, holy crap, we can sweep. Well, you know what? Who sweeps in the final anyway? Let's go home and win it. And then you get home and all your family's there. Everybody's flown in. The party has started before the game, right? The party's on. Everybody's here. When do we get the cup? When's the parade? Like, it would not be saying that, but that would be the vibe. And then again, you kind of stub your toe. You wonder if the third time's kind of the charm, where that finally the message gets in to your head. These guys aren't just going to lay down. We're going to have to play some meaningful hockey here if we're going to win this thing. Now, if that happens in game 6 or 7, I'm not sure.
Last 40 minutes last night, scoring chances 20-7.
Which
I think they got the memo. It was just a little late.
Yeah. Because Maurice he said he liked a lot about their game. Once they got going, he was very happy with them.
You just started down 4-1 at one point, right?
Yeah. That pass by Montour on the power play. Holy Dinah. Watch. Sorry for my language.
Yeah, settle down there.
What is he thinking?
Apologies to all the Dinas out there.
Dinah, won't you blow? Dinah, won't you blow? Dinah, won't you blow my horn? Isn't that the song?
Not sure how that's how it went. Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah?
Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Someone's in the kitchen, I know. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Strumming on the old banjo. Great clips tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'm here tomorrow.
Okay.
I've been working on these.
Friday is Hawaiian shirt day.
I know.
It's a bad day for me.
I've been trying to get some of these interviews lined up, and it seems like every Thursday's a good day for a number of people.
Well, and then the other thing is, for me, I may have jumped the gun on some of my plans, thinking, it'll be over, so there's nothing going to be. What's Friday?
Yeah,
it's a game. Right.
Just before we move, Barclay Goodrow's been claimed off waivers by the Sharks, which was kind of speculated by Brooke. There's a lot of money, a lot of term, and a lot of help done from Mike Greer to the New York Rangers with that one.
Yeah,
old teammates.
Right? Interesting. Favor for now, for favor for later. That's a huge help to a Blue Shirts club that gets much cap
Collusion?
space.
Is that what you're saying?
Don't know the word.
No.
An optical collusion?
Feels like that was like the first thing that came into your mind, though, was that picking up this guy that's got a lot of time left. He's doing a favor
feels
for his
rather
buddy.
greasy.
Does Conroy have any buddies? Anybody want to do Conroy a solid?
Ginla, but they work together. So they don't
Yeah. It's unfortunate. Yeah, so tomorrow, Great Clips inbox. If you have a question, a thought, maybe are you heartbroken that Markstrom's gone? Are you having a hard time dealing with this Oiler stuff that we're dealing with?
These
now?
people.
You can email the show and we'll get into it. The email address is greatclipsinbox@flamesnation.ca. And we will do that tomorrow. Someone will do that tomorrow. It might be me. I don't know. I'm waiting to hear back. Because it sounds like one has maybe moved to Friday, but one can do tomorrow morning. But it's these people that are worthy of being interviewed. High maintenance.
Can be.
Some high maintenance folks. Yeah. So what are your plans on Friday?
I have to drive to Detroit today after this.
Detroit.
And then I got to get back, or I got to book a London last-minute flight to fly to Calgary. So
a lot of options.
But I might have to drive to Detroit to Toronto, Toronto to Calgary.
How long is Detroit to Toronto?
3. Or Hamilton. Hamilton's an option.
The Hammer.
Windsor.
That's a 3-hour flight.
Windsor's right there. Come on, you can go to Windsor. You got to go to Windsor.
No, drive.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. If you're flying, if you can somehow get Windsor to Calgary, that'd be. Whew.
I don't know if they fly to Calgary.
They used to, but
Windsor.
A long time ago.
So you don't know if you're coming to Calgary, or you are. You just don't know how or when.
I don't know.
Both.
Any of it. I might even drive.
Good. Yeah.
It's a lot there to unpack.
Jesus. Did you get those tires figured out? And
no, I got to go do that right now. Get a oil
Murph?
change. Get
Go
some
talk to Murph.
tires.
Yeah. Let's do the Betway bet. Betway. Get the app. Play along. Join the action with Dinah. Do you think banjo is that kind of tongue-in-cheek for something? Create a new account, scan the QR code on the screen that was just up there. You got it. Redeem your bonus. No minimum amount required. First bet loses. Up to $200 could be jettisoned right into your account as kind of like credits. You can't cash them out. But you can do some more betting on your favorite sports. Here's Ryan Pinder's bet of the day.
Let's take a look, fellas. We got the Red Sox and Blue Jays. This Brian Bello, or Brian spelt improperly, not Jack's fault. His mom probably. 4 of his last 5 starts, 5Ks or more. We're going to take the over for -105, and we're going to take the Swiss to beat the Scots. That -105 at a 1 p.m. kickoff, which is coming up quick.
You love the Swiss.
Good at chocolate, good at banks, good at trains, good at skiing.
Watches?
Good at watches.
Army
Good at
knives?
hosting the Spengler Cup. Bad at making food affordable.
Is that right, eh?
Go to the
And
game
I
at
love to
Spengler
eat.
Cup. Beer and a hot dog. $58.
Are you getting right loaded?
Am I?
Yeah.
No, we got to record a little DOD today, and then we got
Oh,
more
I see.
kid baseball tonight. This rain has wreaked havoc on the playoff schedule.
Where's the weather? Is it?
We showed you that wind chill clip from, it was a balmy 10 degrees with spitting rain last night instead.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we've done a lot today.
We've moved mountains.
Ooh, yeah.
I need to take a day because of today.
Yeah, we've done a lot. Panthers are still winning, right?
72% chance.
How much?
73.
Okay.
Let's wrap that up. Get that done.
I did pick the other guys, though.
Yeah, but you can shut your mouth.
Okay. Well, fair enough. That'll do it. Won't see you tomorrow, buddies.